Hi soap friends, thank you so much for watching. Today we're going to be making my lavender field soap. This is my very first full-length YouTube video, so bear with me as I figure everything out. Also make sure to like this video and subscribe because it really helps. It helps me. YouTube pushes the video the more you engage with it. So make sure you're subscribing and that you like this video. So I'm going to go over some of my basic soap stuff today, give you a few little tips if you're trying to do any of this at home. So my soap batter, I generally use the same batter. I've had really good success with it. It's a mixture of coconut oil, olive oil, sustainably sourced palm oil, and castor oil. You can go onto, there's a website called it's a soap calculator basically. It's soapcalc.net. I'll put the link in the description of the video. And basically it's a little like calculator where you pop in all your different oils and it'll tell you how much lye to use, and you can put in your super fat and all of that stuff. And it will give you a recipe basically. So you just have to decide what oils you want to use. Every oil has a little bit of a different fatty acid profile. So it's going to react a little bit differently in the soap. Generally, harder oils or butters like shea butter tend to make the bar a little bit harder, and more liquid oils like olive oil tend to make the bar a little bit softer. I also like to add sodium lactate to all of my bars. It's a naturally occurring salt, and it makes the bars harder, which makes them last longer for my customers. So they're not going to go through a bar in like a week. It'll take them a little bit longer to go through it. Sodium lactate is also a humectant and a moisturizer, so it's also really good for the skin. So I like to put it in all of my bars. In this specific bar, I've also added a Brazilian purple clay. I've added it to both of the colors I have going on in the loaf, but in the one that's a little bit more purple, I've added a little bit more of the clay and then also a little mica just to give the two colors a little bit of a difference so you can see the swirls in the final loaf. I love adding clay to my cold process soap because it makes the lather really, really creamy and super nice to use. It's really great as a shaving soap, and it also helps to detoxify the skin. So the clay will actually go in and pull out impurities from the skin. So again, it's like one of those like dual ingredients that make the bar nicer and better to use, but are also really good for your skin. The little heart column that I added to this loaf, I pre-made. It's a column mold that you can buy just on Amazon. I'll put a link in my description. And you just have to make it the day before or a couple days before, so it sets in time, so it's hard enough to put into the loaf. But it takes a little bit of extra work, but I love the result. It just creates like such a cute little added design to these soaps. You can see this batter is also a little bit thicker. That just depends on how much you stick blend it. So when you're blending on your oils and your lye, you use a stick blender and bring it to trace. This is more of a thick trace, which is why I'm taking my little whisk and making some swirls in it, because the batters are a little bit thicker, so they're not really creating swirls on their own. Sometimes you can get that from the essential oils or fragrances you use if it accelerates the trace. That's what we call it in soap making. And it just takes trial and error getting to know each different essential oil and fragrance. There's lots of information online as well. I always look up the different fragrance, and I also always check the MSDS sheets. So the material safety data sheets, every chemical you buy will have one, and it's really important to look at them and go through and see what hazards are listed, because a lot of fragrance oils, you'd be really surprised, are actually really, really bad for you. But putting a label on all fragrance and just saying all fragrance is bad is also kind of limiting to soap makers. So check the MSDS sheets, make sure they're not going to give you cancer or something crazy like that. And then also in the information with some of the fragrances, it'll tell you if it discolors, accelerates, that kind of thing. My favorite place to buy most of my soap making stuff is Windy Point Soap in Calgary. They are so awesome. They're just the nicest people to deal with. They have everything when I need it. They ship out really quickly. Check them out. They're awesome. I'll put a link in the description. So fast forward 24 hours. Here we are unmolding this loaf. Some loaves are easier to get out than others. This guy seems to be doing okay. This is the most fun part. The anticipation here is real, I'm telling you. Sometimes when it's setting, I'll even go in and just kind of like peek on the loaves and try and like pull the side open just to peek because I'm so impatient. But this is the best part, the first chop. So this loaf is a little bit soft. I probably should have let it sit a little bit longer and see how it kind of went all mushy towards the end. But I'm going to cut it up anyway because here we are. There, that side went a little better. So pretty. You see even my voice in the background. Oh, gorgeous. And we're zooming. Okay. So, unlike a lot of soap makers that use wire cutters, for some reason, I always just go back to my ruler and my knife. I just love it. It's soothing and keeps that whole handmade vibe. Every piece is a little bit different. It just kind of stays with the whole old school soap vibe. So you can kind of see how the colors kind of swirl a little bit together. That's from doing the swirls with my little whisk. So if the batter had been a little lighter, we would have gotten a bit more kind of marbling. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video and took away a few little tips. And again, make sure you like this video and subscribe. Really